You're able to see my screen, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So last class, can anyone give me a quick recap on what we did in the last class? Quickly. Can anyone give me a recap on what we did in the last class? Quickly. No one attended last class, is it? No one attended last class? You can't even answer me. It's that shows your disrespect towards your faculty member. Hmm? I'm asking you something, and none of you bother to answer me, right? I'll mark all of you absent. Don't answer for attendance also. I will not take attendance also. I'll mark all of you absent every day from today. None of you are bothered to even reply me when I ask you something. Is that the way you behave with your faculty members? No response for that also. Okay, so last class, there's no point in talking to you all. You all don't want to listen or what? Manoj, are you there? Akhil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what did we do in the last class?
Mm.
What did we do in the last class?
Ma'am, we have studied
Ma'am, we
two-phase
started.
locking technique, multiple mode lock, shared node.
Okay. So finally, so much I have to ask you 10 times before somebody responds to me. Huh? Shows how much you are really interested in the class, is it not? All of you. This will affect you in later days. Huh? Take it from me. DPMS is not an easy subject, any subject for that matter. Because there is no exam, you don't take it so lightly. You will face this heavily in placements. I'm telling you right away. Not only in placement, even if you get placed and get into a company, if you are going to not learn the basics properly, it is going to affect you very badly. And not responding like this is really very bad. I keep asking you and you don't even want to respond. What sort of discipline is that? Huh? Is that what you have been taught? Why do you have to educate yourselves then? I'll simply come, do something, go off. You simply switch it on and sleep there, is it? Attendance, why are you answering me? I won't take attendance only. I'll mark all of you absent from today. You go complain wherever you want. When I'm asking you something you don't want to respond, then why do you respond for attendance? Don't respond for that also. Let me mark all of you absent. This is too much of indiscipline. Anyway, how much ever I talk, it is only waste of time for me only. You're not even listening. Maybe you have slept off. Who knows? I will We'll see what can be done for this. I'll link everything to your IA only, internal assessment. All your results are depending on your internal assessment. No, you see what I'll do. If you are not going to respond, then I also know how I can be dealing with this issue. Okay. Okay, today we will be seeing something called as, so whether I teach something, I don't address some concept, how do you get to know then? I can simply leave off certain concepts and go ahead, is it not? You won't even know because you're not even listening, paying attention to the classes. Then what's the point? Half of you are not even there if I call you. Hmm? So let us see what is conversion of locks. So last class we were dealing with what is a binary lock, and then we went ahead of binary lock to understand what is a multiple mode lock. And before I continue further, fourth module notes I'll be sharing. Fifth module I'm not giving you any notes. You have to make your own notes. Okay, make your own notes from whatever I'm teaching you. Do it. I will not share any notes for you. The reason is the kind of indiscipline that you are showing towards me. That is the reason. Make your own notes and write your third internals. I will not share any notes for this. Let this also get recorded. Right. So for conversion of locks, so sometimes we need to allow what is called as lock conversion. That means in the last class, we saw what is shared lock, what is exclusive lock, which is together were called as multiple mode lock. So that is what we were seeing. And then we also saw how we can try to write a code for unlock, how we can write a code for write lock, how we can write a code for read lock. Correct. These are the things that we were trying to discuss in the last class. Continuing further, we can have something called as conversion of locks. So DBMS should allow for something called as lock conversion. That is a transaction, if it is holding a lock on item X, it is allowed to convert that lock from one state to another state. That means it can either upgrade the lock or it can even downgrade the lock. So what do we mean by this upgrade and downgrade? Converting from one state to another state. Suppose, for example, if it is possible for a transaction T to issue a read lock of X. Okay, suppose a transaction T has issued a read lock on the data item X. It can later on upgrade it by issuing a write lock on the same item. I have already issued a read lock. Okay, it is possible that a transaction can issue can upgrade that lock. That means I can go one level up and then I can try to issue a write lock on the same data item X. So this we say that the lock is upgraded. You are moving one level up. Right? Now, if the only transaction which is holding the read lock, suppose T is the only transaction which is holding the read lock, there are no other transactions which are doing a read operation on X. Only then this kind of an upgrade is allowed. Because when I say read lock, that is a shared lock, there can be many transactions which are doing the read operation on the same item. That is possible. When that is the case, it cannot upgrade. You cannot go for a upgrade. In that case, the transaction has to simply wait until all the read operations are over. So, what did I say? If T is the only transaction which is holding the read lock on X, at the time when it wants to issue a write lock, then only the lock can be upgraded. Otherwise, the transaction it has to simply wait until all the read operations are over. Right? Now, it is also possible for a transaction to issue a write lock. Suppose the transaction has issued a write lock on X. I can later go for a downgrade by issuing a read lock. I can convert it. That means my write lock is getting converted. That means write is, I have finished with the write. Now I want to issue a read. So I can convert my write lock to the read lock. So here, if the write operation is over by the transaction, it can immediately issue a read lock on the same data item X. This is what you call it as downgrading. From the write lock, you are moving to the read lock, you call it as downgrade. If you have a read lock and from the read lock, you are moving into the write lock, then you call as the upgrade. But write lock, downgrade is always allowed because you are doing a write operation. Means that is the only transaction which will be doing the write operation. There are no other transactions which will be doing any write operation because write operation is always a exclusive lock it is. No other transaction is allowed to do any read or any write on that particular X. Right? So when you are going for downgrade, after your write lock is over, you can immediately you can convert it into a read lock if you want to read that operation, which is called as downgrade. It will immediately happen also. But when you are doing a read lock, when you are the transaction has a read lock on X, you want to upgrade. In that case, there are two cases. That means the upgrade will happen only if T is the only transaction which is doing the read operation. In that case, if T has finished with the read, it can upgrade itself to the write. But if there are multiple read operations being done by multiple transactions, then the transaction cannot upgrade its lock. It cannot convert its lock. It has to simply wait. That is the condition in case of the upgradation. Whereas in case of downgrading, that kind of a condition will not appear, because downgrading means you already hold the write lock. The transaction already holds the write lock on X. You're done with the write lock and now you want to move to the read lock. That is downgrading. The transaction is the only transaction which can do a write at that point of time. So downgrading is not an issue at all. But upgrading, always it has to be checked. If the transaction is the only transaction which is doing the read operation, only then it can upgrade itself to the write lock. If there are multiple transactions doing the read operation, because that is allowed, shared lock is allowed. Many transactions can keep doing the read operation. In that case, upgrading is not allowed. Right? So that is about conversion of locks. Read lock can be converted to write lock can again be converted into read lock. Any questions, any doubts? No one will have any questions. If they are listening, then we'll have questions. Otherwise, where is a point of questions? Still, it's my duty to ask. Any doubts at this point of time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next, we move on to a very important concept, which is called as two-phase locking protocol. To do this part, we have been talking about locks till now. That's the reason, just to understand this part, we had to understand all that we have done so far. What is a binary lock? What are multiple mode locks? Then what is conversion of locks? What is meant by write lock, read lock, unlock, how they are coded? All this we have learned. Now we are going to learn something really very important, which is the two-phase locking protocol. Okay. Now, when do you say a transaction is set to follow the two-phase locking protocol? What do we mean by that? A transaction, we say that it is following this particular protocol. We call it even as 2PL, two-phase locking protocol, 2PL. Okay. When do you say that a transaction is following this particular protocol? Now, a transaction is set to follow 2PL or two-phase locking protocol if all the locking operations come before the first unlock operation in the transaction. What is a transaction? Transaction is always a couple of steps. All these operations will make up a transaction. Now, let us I call it as T1. This particular transaction T1 is set to follow this 2PL if all the locking operations come before your unlock operation. That means your unlock operation should always be the last operation. All the locking operation means, suppose this particular transaction wants to issue a write lock on X. It wants to issue a read lock on X. It wants to issue again a write lock on Y. Something like this. All these are lock operations. All the locking operations. That is what I said. All the locking operations that the transaction wants, T1 wants. All these locking operations should precede the first unlock operation. That is where you say that the transaction is following the two-phase locking protocol. Am I clear? A transaction is set to follow a two-phase locking protocol if all the locking operation precede the first unlock operation in the transaction. If all the locking operation means what? A transaction may issue a write lock, it may issue a read lock on several items. It may want to read X, it wants to read Y, it wants to read something else. All these are nothing but lock operation. So whatever it wants to lock or whatever operations it wants to do on certain data items, first it has to issue all those locking operation before it unlocks any of the operation. Before, that is, precede, all the locking operation should precede means what? All the locking operation should come before the first unlock operation. If this is followed, then we say that the particular transaction is following the two-phase locking protocol or the 2PL protocol. Let us take some examples. Okay, let me take an example of T1. Now here, let us say I have these operations as part of our T1. First, it wants to read lock Y. Then it says read item of Y. First, it locks it, then it reads that item, and then it unlocks Y. Then it makes a write operation on X. Then it reads X. Then it does some operation, let's say X is equal to X plus Y. Then it writes the Y or X, whatever. Write X. And then the last step here again, it is unlock of X. Can you tell me whether this particular operation is, this particular transaction T1, is it following the two-phase protocol or not? Can anyone tell me that?
No, ma'am.
Why?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Because their unlock must be done at the last.
Yeah.
And the unlocking of Y is coming before the write lock of X.
Correct. There is an unlock of Y here, which is preceding your other write or lock operations. There is one more lock operation here, write lock of X. Right? So before this lock operation, it is calling this unlock operation. That is why we say this T1 is not following the 2PL protocol. Let us take one more example, T2. I will say read log of X. Then it reads an item of X. And then it issues an unlock on X. It is done with X, so it issues an unlock on X. And then it goes on to issue a lock operation on Y. Read item of Y. Does a write operation on write lock, and then it does a write operation, then something like X, Y is equal to X plus Y. Then it does a write item of Y. And then it unlocks Y. What about this? Whether T2 is following 2PL? Is the transaction T2 following 2PL?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, here also it is not following because unlock operation comes before any of the lock operations. Before any of the lock operations, you are giving the unlock. So whenever that kind of a thing happens, that means the transaction is not following the 2PL protocol. So transaction is said to be following a two-phase locking protocol if all the locking operation precede the first unlock operation in the transaction. Okay, now these kind of transactions can be divided into two phases. Okay. Now, such this kind of what do we call as this 2PL can be divided into two phases. One phase you call it as the expanding or the growing phase, or you call it as a first phase. There are two phases. One is called as the expanding, growing, or you can even call it as the first phase. The second one is called as the shrinking or the second phase. That is the second phase. So always when we talk of 2PL, there are two phases in that. One is called as expanding or growing first phase, or you call it as a shrinking second phase. Now what happens during each of these phases? In the first phase, that is in the expanding or the growing first phase, new locks can be acquired, but none of them can be released. It can only issue the lock and it can acquire some locks. It can be a read lock, it can be a write lock. Means it can be a shared lock or it can be a exclusive lock. It can go on acquiring locks. It can issue the lock items, lock operations on the data items, and it can continue, but it cannot release any of the locks. That is your first phase. First phase mein no locks can be released. You cannot release any of the locks. No locks can be released. In the second phase, existing locks can be released now, but no new locks can be acquired. That is your shrinking phase. In the shrinking phase, what happens when the transaction comes to the shrinking phase? That means it has already acquired locks. It is not allowed to acquire, no new locks can be acquired. But all the acquired locks can be released at this point of time. That is what you call it as the shrinking phase or the second phase. Right? So I repeat, any 2PL, the two-phase locking protocol contains two phases, expanding phase or the growing phase. That will be the first phase. And then you have the shrinking phase or the second phase. What happens in expanding phase? In the expanding phase, no locks can be released. That means the transaction cannot issue a unlock command. It cannot issue an unlock operation. This is not allowed. It can only acquire. It can say write lock, it can say read lock on any of the items. It can only acquire new locks, but it cannot release any lock, which means it cannot issue the unlock operation. In the second phase, shrinking phase or the second phase, what will happen? There are no new locks can be acquired. All the locks has already been acquired in the growing phase. So whatever locks was acquired by the transaction, those locks can now be released. That means it can issue unlock of X or Y or whatever. On whichever item it has acquired and lock, it has to release all those locks. It can only issue the unlock operation. It can only issue the unlock operation. So only the acquired locks are released, but no new locks will be acquired. That is your shrinking phase or the second phase. Now, is the lock conversion allowed here? We also saw what is a lock conversion, wherein we talked of upgrading and downgrading. If you have a read lock, we can upgrade to a we can upgrade to a write lock if there are no multiple read operations that are happening. But if there is a no read lock, write lock by a transaction, the transaction can always downgrade itself to a read lock. That is also possible. Is it allowed in this case? In case of no what to say, two-phase locking, is it allowed? If the lock conversion is allowed, then upgrading of locks. Upgrading means what? Always you move from read to write. It must be done during the expanding phase only. During the expanding phase, upgrading can be done. But what is the condition for upgrading? That condition still holds. If T upgrading means you are moving from read to write. You are moving from read lock to write lock. That is your upgrading. Okay, only upgrading or conversion from read to write is allowed. But what is the general condition for upgrading? If a transaction is the only transaction holding a read, then only it can upgrade to the write. If there are multiple transactions which are doing a read operation, then obviously this transaction has to wait, and that applies here also. That will apply to the two-phase locking also. Right? Now, if you are downgrading,
So, sir,
yeah.
if one transaction is doing read operation,
Hmm?
and while doing read operation, it can upgrade it to write operation, ma'am.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, it can upgrade to write only if it is the only transaction which is doing the read. Because when we say read log, many are allowed to do a read at the same time. No, last class we saw what is called as a shared log. So if many transactions are doing a read, then it cannot go upgrade to the write because there will be other transactions which are still reading. So you cannot upgrade to the write. If the transaction is the only transaction which is doing a read operation, then only it is allowed to upgrade to the write. That is the condition when you go for upgrading. Am I clear?
It
Yeah.
need not to finish the read operation.
No, it has to. It will finish the read operation and then it can go into the write operation of any data item or the same data item, whatever it is. But it should be the only transaction which is holding that lock on the data item. If there are multiple reads happening, then the upgrade is not allowed. Transaction has to wait until all the reads are over. It is not allowed. But downgrading is not like that. Downgrading is write to read is downgrading. Write means only one transaction is allowed to write at any point of time. So obviously it can go for a read of any other operation after it finishes the write. Yeah. So downgrading of locks. That means downgrading means it is moving from write to read. This can be done only in the shrinking phase. It cannot be done in the expanding phase. So a read lock operation that downgrades an already held write lock can appear only in the shrink. That means downgrading means what? You are holding a write lock. The transaction is holding a write lock. From write lock, you are moving to a read lock. This is allowed, but this is allowed only in the shrinking phase. It is not allowed in the expanding phase. In the expanding phase, only upgrading is allowed. That too with subject to that particular condition. If the transaction is the only transaction doing a read operation, after it finishes the read, it can move to the write. But if there are multiple read, then the transaction has to wait. But downgrading of locks is not allowed in case of expanding phase. Hope I am clear. Any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Now suppose I try to rewrite that we had taken a transaction here. We had taken two transactions here. Suppose I try to rewrite this. Let me see. Okay, so I'll write here read log of x, I mean read log of y, whatever. And then I do a read item of y. I'll take a right log of x, unlock y. Then I will read the item y, item x is equal to x plus y. Write item of x. I've updated x, so I'll write that item. And then I will unlock x. Is this in 2PL or not? One second. What I have done here? Yeah. Is this in 2PL or not? I have just rewritten what we had taken previously. Previously, we said that it is not in the 2PL because we are having a unlock which is coming there. Right now, what happens? Can anyone tell me what is whether this transaction is it following 2PL or not?
Yes, ma'am, it is following.
Why do you say that?
Ma'am, because there is no log that is coming after the unlock.
Correct. There are no lock operation. 2PL means any lock should be acquired before it unlocks. All the lock operations should be acquired before it unlocks. Now, if here though it unlocks here, but still after that there are no lock operations at all. So this transaction follows the 2PL protocol. Similarly, I can rewrite our T2. So T2, let me say, takes a read lock first and then read item of x, write lock, it acquires a write lock on y, it unlocks x, then it does a read on the y, that's what I've taken, y is equal to again x plus y, write item of y, unlock of y. Now what about T2?
Yes, ma'am, it follows 2PL.
Yeah, it follows 2PL because after the unlock, this is the first unlock. After this, no lock operations should be there. All the lock operations should come before the first unlock operation, and that is what is happening. There is only one lock here that is coming very much before the unlock. After this unlock, there are no lock operations at all. Hence, the what to say? It follows the 2PL protocol, right? So that is about our 2PL. Now there are different types of or different variations under this 2PL. Different variations or slight variations in the way this 2PL performs. Let us see what are they. Any questions or any doubts at this point of time? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions, let me proceed further.
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me.
ma'am, what if there the closing unlock Y was missing in T2?
Yeah, sorry, come again.
Ma'am, what if the unlock Y was missing in the T2?
This one, this last step.
Yes, ma'am.
See, if unlock Y was missing, that transaction is said to be not completed properly. Because the rules were last class we discussed what are the rules before you do any read or write operation, you should acquire the transaction should acquire the lock. After the read or the write operation is done, the transaction have to release the lock. That's the rule. It has to follow that. If it has not done, then that means the transaction may be it has failed or got aborted somewhere. We can take it like that. It is not successfully completed. That is what we can say. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other questions? Right, let's move to the next one. What are the different types of, just a second. Yeah. Let's move to the variations. What are the different types of 2PL protocols that we have? Now we have understood what is 2PL, how conversion can be done, log conversion, how it can apply to 2PL, all that we have seen. Okay. Now, under 2PL, there are certain variations. As I said, there are different types, so you can take it as one is the basic type. We have the conservative type, strict 2PL, and then we have rigorous. Basic 2PL, conservative 2PL, strict 2PL, rigorous 2PL. These are the 4 different types of 2PL that we have. Okay. Now, the first one, basic 2PL. What is basic 2PL? Whatever we described now, the general 2PL so far, that is nothing but called as basic 2PL. So basic 2PL means what? All your log, the 2PL that we described just now. What did we describe? The transaction should issue all the lock operations before it issues any of the unlock operation. There should not be any lock operation after the unlock. That is your basic 2PL. Okay. Okay. So the next variation that we saw is called as conservative 2PL. You also call the conservative 2PL as static 2PL. Static 2PL. Now, what does this mean? Conservative 2PL or static 2PL means what? A particular transaction, okay, should log all its items, whatever it wants, before the transaction begins. That means it should, we say it as, it should pre-declare what is called as its read set and write set. It should pre-declare its read set and write set. What do we mean by read set and write set? Read set of a transaction is nothing but the set of transaction that, read set of a transaction is a set of all items that the transaction wants to read. What are all the items that the transaction want to read? This T, that is nothing but your read set. It may want to read X, it may want to read Y, it may want to read Z, it may want to read A. All this becomes its read set. The set of all the items that the transaction wants to read is called as read set. Clear? Now, similarly, there is a write set for the transaction. So, set of all the items that it wants to write. A transaction T wants to perform a write operation on which of the data items? It wants to perform a write operation on X. It wants to perform a write operation on Y. It wants to perform a write operation on A. These are nothing but set of all the data items on which the transaction wants to perform a write operation. You call it as a write set. Now, in case of conservative 2PL or the static 2PL, what happens here? The transaction should acquire the lock on all its read set, all the items that it wants to access, I would say. Access means it can be either read, it can be either write. So if a transaction, suppose it wants to perform the read on all these data items, it wants to perform a write on all these data items, then it should acquire the locks on all these items before the transaction begins. That is what you call it as conservative 2PL or static 2PL. Suppose I want to, the transaction T will acquire a read lock on X, it will acquire a read lock on Y, it will acquire a read lock on Z and a read lock on A. And then again it will ask for a read log on X and Y and A and so on. But suppose some of the log is not available. For example, transaction T wants to do a read operation on A. Transaction, let us say transaction T1 wants to do a read operation. So it has to acquire the lock on A. But let us say A is not available. A is write locked by some other transaction T2. So in that case, it cannot apply a read lock on A. So what it has to do? T1 has to wait. Even if one of these, all these items, it wants to read on X, Y, Z, A, according to this example. It also wants to write on X, Y, and A. Correct? Even if one of these data items are not available for T1 to acquire a log, it has to simply wait. It can start its transaction only when it has acquired the log on all these items. Only then it can start its transaction. Even if one of them is not available, suppose, as I said, it wants to do a write operation on A. But A is not available because it is already write locked by some other transaction. In that case, T1 has to wait. Others may be available. X, Y, and Z are all available. No, but it cannot start. It has to begin only when it has acquired the locks on all these data items. Then you call it as a conservative 2PL. So what is conservative or static 2PL? A transaction should log all the items it accesses. I use the word accesses. Access means either whatever item it wants to read, whatever item it wants to write. All the item it accesses. A transaction should lock all the item it accesses before the transaction begins the execution, by pre-declaring its read set and write set. I told you now what is a read set and write set. Read set is the set of all the data items on which it wants to perform a read. And write set is a set of all the data items that it wants to write. If any of these items cannot be locked, as I told you, the transaction, it cannot lock any item. It does not lock any item. Instead, it waits until all the items become available for locking. Suppose all are available except this A for write. No, it cannot still apply on all this. It cannot still apply on all. It has to wait until everything is available. And then it issues a lock on all of these items, both read as well as write set. And then only it can start the execution. What is the disadvantage and advantage of this? This conservative 2PL is deadlock free. It is a deadlock free protocol. This is an advantage of conservative 2PL. What is the disadvantage? Any difficulty in this? You would have learned something similar to this in deadlock, is it not? Can anyone answer me? Now, the disadvantage under this is it is not possible to pre-declare the read set and write set always. Pre-declare read set and write set means what? A transaction has to tell what are the items on which it wants to read, what are the items it wants to write. This particular set, that is this entire set, the transaction should be aware of that even before the transaction begins. That is not practically possible. It is difficult practically to pre-declare the read set and the write set. Most of the situations, this may not become possible. That is a disadvantage of this conservative 2PL or static 2PL. Advantage is what? It is a deadlock-free protocol. Any doubts so far? We have seen what is basic 2PL. We saw what is conservative 2PL. Basic is what we discussed. The general 2PL is your basic 2PL. So conservative is before the transaction begins the execution, it should acquire log on all its items. Whatever items it wants to read, whatever items it wants to write, it has to acquire the lock on that. Even if one of the item is not available, it cannot acquire the lock on any of them. It has to wait until all the items become available. That is what is called as conservative 2PL. Advantage, deadlock free. Disadvantage, it is not practically possible for a transaction to tell what are the items it wants to read and what are the items it wants to write. After the transaction begins, maybe it gets to know that some data item has to be written, some data item has to be read. It gets to know after the transaction begins. But when it gets to know after the transaction begins, it cannot acquire the lock. That is your concept of conservative 2PL. Right. The next type is strict 2PL. Strict. This is the most popular version of your 2PL. Most popular variation or version or whatever. Variation. Okay, I've been using that term. So most popular variation of 2PL is a strict 2PL. What happens in this case? No. A transaction T will not release any of its exclusive lock. Exclusive lock means it will not release any of its write locks until it commits. Until it commits, or if it has not successfully done, it should at least abort either of these. Right? So what did I say? That is nothing but your strict 2PL. Strict 2PL means it will not release. That means it will not issue the statement unlock wherever it has a write lock only. It will not release any of its write locks unless it commits, if it has done successfully. If it has failed, it has to abort. Only at that point of time, it will release or it will issue the unlock statement. So no transaction can read or write an item that is written by T unless T has committed. Suppose this is T. This is the transaction T1. So T1 is said to be following strict 2PL when it is not going to release any of the write locks. It will not release any of the write locks unless it commits or it aborts. Only after committing or after abortion only it will release the write locks. It is only for write locks. So if there is any other transaction T2, no other transaction can read or write an item that is written by, that is locked on, write locked by T1. So suppose something like this is there, write lock on X. This is issued by, let us say, T1. This is issued by T1. So T1 will not release this. Release means it has to issue something like this, unlock of X. It will not do this unless the transaction commits. Commits means what? Unless the transaction completes successfully. Only then it will unlock X. Until then, it is not going to unlock X. Because on X it has got a write lock. Suppose it also has a read lock on Y. This is allowed. It will unlock Y. Before even it commits, it can unlock Y because Y is it has issued a read lock on Y. I am only concerned with write locks. So no other transaction can try to do anything on this item X. If T2 wants to read or it wants to write X, it is not allowed because it is not released by T1. It is still locked by T1. So any doubts, or is it clear? Strict 2PL. Strict 2PL is very strict. That is why it is called as strict. So transaction will not release any of its write locks or exclusive locks until it commits or it aborts. After it commits, commit when it will happen? When it has successfully committed, successfully completed the transaction. That time it will commit. After that, it will release. That's one option. If it has not successfully completed, then in that case, it may abort. It may fail, no? So after it has failed also, it will release that, it will issue the unlock, can be issued manually or whatever. It can be released. So till then, no other transaction can be allowed to do any operation, either read or write, because it is holding a write lock. So nobody can read also. Nobody can write also on that particular data item X. That is what you call it as strict 2PL. It is not deadlock free. Strict 2PL can get into some kind of deadlocks. I am not going into the concept of deadlock as of now. Any doubts? Strict 2PL?
Ma'am, once again, explain this one.
Strict 2PL.
Yes, ma'am.
See, strict 2PL is the most popular variation of the 2PL. What happens here? Any transaction, if it is holding a write lock on any of the items, okay, it will not release that item unless it commits or it aborts. Only when it commits, that means only if the transaction is completed successfully, only then it will release the lock. Or what is the other option? If the transaction is not completed successfully, it gets failed. Correct? So that time also in that case it will get aborted. That time it will release the lock. Not before that, it will not release anywhere in between. That is what I said. But if it has taken a read lock, it can unlock that. Suppose here in this example, I have shown read lock of Y, write lock of X. Only this unlock of X is not allowed there. But unlock on Y is allowed, because on Y it is holding a read lock. It will allow even before it commits. It will release that lock even before it commits, because it is a read lock. This rule is only for exclusive locks or write locks. Is it clear?
Ma'am, if there is a right lock on X
Hmm.
and say it's a right lock on Y,
Okay.
it will unlock only when all the operation it has done.
Correct. Yes. Only if the transaction is completed. Transaction means what? It will have so many steps in that, so many operations in that. After all that is over, only it will release the lock on both X and Y, if both X and Y are write lock. So till then, no other transaction can do either a read or a write on that particular X as well as Y, because this is holding a write lock on both of them. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that is about strict 2PL. We have left with, I think, one more one more variation, that is rigorous 2PL, which we will take up in the next class maybe. So we have seen what is 2PL, what are the different variations of 2PL. Yeah, answer your attendance, Anaga. Anaga is absent, I'm marking absent. Before I continue further, as I told you, 4th module notes I'll be sharing with you all very soon. 5th module, I'm not giving you all any notes. You will have to make it on your own. Okay, based on whatever I am teaching, make your notes by yourselves.
Ma'am, present, ma'am.
Abhilash. Abhilash. Akhil.
Yes, ma'am.
Akrut.
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha.
Yes, ma'am.
Aravind. Okay, Arifullah.
Yes, ma'am.
Benaka.
Present, ma'am.
Banu.
Yes, ma'am.
Bhargav.
Yes, ma'am.
Rahmatullah.
Present, ma'am.
Chaitra.
Present.
Chandana.
Present, ma'am.
Charan.
Yes, ma'am.
Arjun.
Present, ma'am.
Diksha.
Yes, ma'am.
Dakshayani.
Present, ma'am.
Kishan. Harshit.
Yes, ma'am.
Hema.
Present, ma'am.
Huma. Jayant.
Present, ma'am.
Divya.
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik.
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi.
Present, ma'am.
Lavanya.
Present, ma'am.
Manish.
Present, ma'am.
Manoj.
Yes, ma'am.
Mohit.
Yes, ma'am.
Naval.
Yes, ma'am.
Navya.
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil.
Present, ma'am.
Panindra. Pavan.
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja.
Present, ma'am.
Purnima.
Present, ma'am.
Raman.
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi. Rupak.
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar.
Present, ma'am.
Samir.
Present, ma'am.
Santosh.
Present, ma'am.
Nadav.
Present, ma'am.
Charan.
Present, ma'am.
Shashank.
Present, ma'am.
Sheetal.
Present, ma'am.
Shivani.
Present, ma'am.
Soumya.
Present, ma'am.
Spurti.
Present, ma'am.
Vishnu.
Present, ma'am.
Sugandhini.
Present, ma'am.
Sushma.
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita.
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita Yu.
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha.
Present, ma'am.
Mukti.
Present, ma'am.
Varsha.
Present, ma'am.
Meena.
Present, ma'am.
Uma is absent. Aravind, of course, is absent. Right. Okay, so I told you all again, I'm not giving you all any notes for fifth module, which is very important module. It is prepare your own notes. You are all very much capable. I know that. Right. Thank you all.